Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Friday, December 19th. All transparency, going a little earlier in the day because of the Christmas holidays, of course. Why not? Right here from our studios in beautiful Ville Saint Laurent on Isabey Street, as a matter of fact, to be more precise. And we're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens' big 4-1 win versus the Chicago Blackhawks last night at the Bell Center. It was so impressive, outshooting the Chicago Blackhawks 35-15, that the Montreal Canadiens decided to cancel practice for today. But a couple of players were on the ice, injured players notably. Mike Matheson was on the ice. Kirby Dach was on the ice. And some other players were on the ice as well, notably Jared Davidson. And one goalie was on the ice as well. Who was he with? What am I talking about? Trade freeze kicks in tonight at midnight. Is something going to go down in the National Hockey League? We'll discuss the highs and the lows, the strengths and the weaknesses of the Montreal Canadiens as the Canadiens prepare for a 2-game series versus the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday in Montreal, Sunday in Pittsburgh. Who are your starting goaltenders? We'll also talk about Samuel Montembeault, who gave up 4 goals on 24 shots last night for the Laval Rocket in Cleveland. Montembeault scheduled to rejoin his teammates in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. What's the goalie plan? What's the plan for the defense? One Montreal Canadiens defenseman had 6 less minutes than every other defenseman on the team last night. Who was it? And what are we talking about? What does that mean for him? And what does that mean for Adam Engstrom? Some talk about being in the window, but I asked Pierre Maguire a question yesterday. He gave me an answer. I'll ask the same question to Brian Wilde and Matt Ohayon. They both join me coming up on the Sick Podcast in just about 3 minutes. I'm Marinaro.
It's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to LaFleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the fall.
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est Jayden qui concède le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Bittt. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Friday, December 19, once again, live from our studios in beautiful Ville, Saint Laurent. We're talking Montreal Canadiens, and once again, we're doing this earlier in the day for a couple of reasons. It's the holidays, number one. Number two, everyone was hanging around the studio, and I said, why not? Number three, okay, guilty. We want to watch Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua tonight in Miami, or at least Matt Ohayon and myself do. Speaking of which, I bring in Matt Ohayon.
Tony, how are we doing today?
I'm doing extremely well. There you have it. Matt Ohayon today brought to you by Gyro Orange Julep since 1932. Since 1932. And I found out a little bit about the family history of the Orange Julep earlier today. Is Mr. Hermas Gyro, back in 1932, had the idea of the orange julep and opened up the very first orange julep. And
Not
then,
the one on the carry.
Not the one on the carry. And by the way, and at the orange julep, it's all about the legendary orange drink, of course, and the classic Casse-Croûte favorites. Earlier today, they brought some of those Casse-Croûte favorites over to us here while the French show was going on, Le Sick Podcast, and they brought over some poutine, and they brought over burgers, and they brought over hot dogs, and of course, the orange drink. I have it right here in front of me. It's unbelievable. I've also already had several, and it's open every day until late. You can swing by after the game, or you can order online to your door. Now, even on Uber Eats, try their new hit item, the Double Smash Cheeseburger. Scan the QR code if you want, and it'll bring you directly to your order, and you'll be able to do that, which is kind of cool. And I want to thank them for actually dressing us. Look at the apparel today. I'm in a hoodie. Brian Wilde at my left is in a hoodie, and Matt Ohayon is in a beautiful sweatshirt as well.
I've decided.
You definitely do. All right. So cheers. Happy holidays.
Guys.
Happy holidays.
Cheers,
Thanks
my
for
man.
doing this. Happy
Cheers,
holidays
way
to
over
everyone.
there, Matt. Here we
By
go.
the way, there's going to be a lot of this over the next couple of days because we are in the holiday spirit. There's no doubt about it. And once again, I want to thank the great people over at Gyro Orange Julep. The one on the carry, to answer your question, Brian, actually opened up in 1965. It needs no introduction. It's a staple in Montreal. As a matter of fact, that big orange ball, as you know it, on the carry is not only a staple, it's a staple in Montreal, yes, but it's become iconic to the point where everyone in Montreal knows it, everyone in Quebec knows it, everyone in Canada knows it, everyone in North America knows it. As a matter of fact, brides and grooms know it from all over the world because when they decide to get married in Montreal, guess what? A lot of them pull a pit stop at Gyro Orange Julep and they take some of their wedding pictures there. Isn't that cool, huh? So,
Hey, Tony, it's our version of the Las Vegas Sphere. It's the Montreal Sphere.
That's right.
I think ours is a lot better.
I think ours is a lot nicer and it tastes a lot better too. And now it's time for Brian Wilde.
Brian Wilde, presented by Fruiterie Dollard. Fresh foods and flavors for over 30 years.
And Brian Wilde is brought to you in part by Souvlaki Authentique. Montreal knows good food, but nothing hits home like, Brian Wilde is brought to you in part by Fruiterie Dollard, I should say. Family-run business, a mainstay in the Lasalle community since 1995. Proud to continue offering the same fresh foods and flavors they have for the past 30 years. From fresh fruits and produce delivered daily to an ever-expanding assortment of deli meats, cheeses, and sandwiches, you'll find personalized service and friendly faces that make you feel like family at Fruiterie Dollard. And I've been going there, guys. They opened up in 1995, like I talked about. Everyone knows I'm a resident of Ville LaSalle. almost born and raised there. I was born in Villemard. At the age of 1, my parents moved to Lasalle. So I've been there for the last 52 years of my life. And ever since Fruiterie Dollard opened up back in 1995, we've been dropping by. Always every Saturday. I'm there every Saturday. And sometimes if I run out of groceries or Mama runs out of groceries, we pull a pit stop also during the week. And that's where we get our fresh fruits and our produce, of course. And we get our Fruiterie Dollard. And Tasso's there. It's a family-run business. Like this one is a family-run business here at Sick Media. Like Gibault Orange Julep is a family-run business as well. And you always deal with the same familiar faces, always with a smile on their face, and the service is second to none.
And you know what, too? I feel like when I come here, we're always scheduled to tape, in the afternoon, late afternoon, unless we go live, depending on if stories break. It's a family-run business here, too, because I work all week to lose some weight, and then here every Friday I gain it all back. There's always some great food. It's so delicious, the cheesecakes all the time. And today I got treated like a king. I came in early because I knew Sammy and Aniello told me it was Orange Julep Day.
Yes.
So I took advantage. I had a hamburger, I had a hot dog, I had some fries, I had a lot of that. And then I'm leaving with cheesecake and cannoli.
Which is great. Now, listen, the Canadiens talk, for those who are there.
And you pay me.
It'll get started. It'll get started. I guess we shouldn't pay him.
Exactly.
The Canadiens talk will get started in about a minute, but you've worked for corporate.
Yeah, nobody treats.
For how many years?
Well, all of them basically, except, the last 7 or 8. But CTV since, I started in the business at 83.
This is family run. Like
it's the best I have ever been treated in my life. And I worked for a multi-billion-dollar company. We had the Christmas party on Wednesday at Souvlaki Authentique.
Yeah.
I ate so well. They fed us so beautifully, and it was so much fun. The mood was fantastic. I sat with Matt and Shane.
Yeah.
And, we had such a great time, and the atmosphere and the way you're treated. I know it sounds probably like I'm blowing smoke, but it's not.
I told this to people.
Smoke. This is the honest to God truth.
I told this to people, and I've spread the word, and I've recruited over the last little while. And I told this to people: if you join, this is what you're going to expect. And not everyone believed me. And then they come in and they're like, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before."
Fantastic.
Perfect. So now, speaking of perfect, the Canadiens were almost perfect last night, holding the Chicago Blackhawks to only 15 shots on goal. It should be noted today's we're kind of risking actually pre-taping earlier in the day because it's trade deadline. It's roster freeze basically, as of not trade deadline, but roster freeze for the trades starting tonight at midnight, which will go from December 20th once it hits midnight to December 27th. So, if there's going to be activity later on this afternoon, we're not going to be talking about it right now. If there is Montreal Canadiens activity, well, then we're pretty much going to scrap this, and we're probably going to be back on again later on tonight at 10 o'clock. And then at that point, we're not watching Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. But do you think the Canadiens need to get something done right away in terms of?
No, I don't think it has to be, right this second.
There's nothing urgent right now.
Yeah, right now there's nothing urgent, but
they're in a pack with a bunch of teams.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be that way till one team decides to go balls to the wall, at trade deadline or whenever the time may be. That's when the separation will start to happen, but it's going to be tight the whole way through.
Well, and look too at the standings. They're in the Eastern Conference, no teams under NHL 500. So who's given up the ghost?
I've never seen this parity after, and I said this last. I've never seen this parity after 35 games. I've never seen it.
But it's funny because I find every team is going, at least in the Atlantic. I'm not really paying attention too much to the Metro. In the Atlantic, every team is going through something. Every single team is going through something. Buffalo is Buffalo. Ottawa was in a dark place not too long ago, and they still kind of are. Toronto is tire fire, it seems. Montreal, it's going okay now. They're
need some goaltending.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one game right now. Every time they win, it kind of feels like a relief, and when they lose, it feels like it's the end of the world. Tampa Bay's going through. Tampa Bay's not sitting in a playoff spot right now. Detroit, who knows if they could keep it up? Boston, who knows if they could keep it up? Every single team. Florida is not doing too hot. So every single team is going through something right now.
Florida, Tampa Bay's actually been struggling. I think they've won 3 of their last 10. Florida's starting to turn around actually slowly, but surely. And they're going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch as well. Can you explain Jayden Struble's, and then not to say that he was perfect yesterday, because obviously he wasn't. But when I look back at that, and I'm like, he got 6.5, almost 6 minutes less than Engstrom and Jacky. Usually when you see the utilization of minutes, time on ice, everyone's like very, very close. I don't remember when was the last time Jayden Struble had 6 less minutes than the next defenseman. I don't remember when was the last time. I think he had 1 shift in the third.
Yeah, he did.
You see something?
I saw a guy who was second guessing a lot of his choices. And that was pretty weird. It was also interesting too that his numbers were so bad. Like his stat card was so bad, and the stat card yesterday was so accurate. Like Lane Hutson was off the chart, amazing, and Jayden Struble had a pretty tough game. And even when he changed defensive partners, you saw different Corsi's by massive amounts that Engstrom's, when he played with his partner, was way higher than Struble, like way higher. And the difference between the two players, considering one only has 7 NHL games and the other hitting 150, is kind of shocking, because in the end, you're always looking at ceilings, right? And when a guy has 150 and he's 24, he's closing in on his ceiling. And then the other guy at 7, at his age, isn't closing in on a ceiling. So we may have seen the changing of the guard a little bit start last night.
Well, I like Brian said, and he's second guessing himself a lot. And Tony, like you said, the Canadiens were almost perfect. It's pretty bad when the Canadiens play a game like they played last night, and you can't say a bad thing about almost any player except for one.
Yeah.
And it was noticeable, because normally in a game like that, if you're the worst player, you're pretty unnoticeable because everyone was pretty good.
Yeah.
And he was noticeably not good.
We're going to bring up a couple of stats. One is the hockey stat card. Shane Gaumont, Master Control, if you can do the honors, please. And there you have it. All right. So the hockey stat card will show you, if we take a look at the defenseman, is that Jayden Struble was completely in another world. Lane Hutson
you're
was
right, though.
Well, Jayden Struble was in another world on the other side. So Struble was obviously the least effective player in the game. His stat card was a negative score of minus 1.92, if I see here. And he was the only minus defenseman per the hockey stats score. Noah Dobson was more effective. Adam Engstrom was a little bit more effective than Noah Dobson. Arbor Jacky, who started to fare pretty well in the hockey stat cards in the last couple of weeks, by the way, was actually the 3rd most effective Canadiens defenseman. It was a good night for Alex Carrier. But look at this. As much as Carrier was, Lane Hutson was more than 2.5 times more effective than Alex Carrier was. And all depending on how you look at the stat card with all the different stats that you can have. In some categories, even more so than that. Lane Hutson was 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times better than a lot of Montreal Canadiens players, like pretty much all the Canadiens players last night. He was on another planet.
Yeah, and also notice that Carrier, now that he doesn't have to carry someone, is actually putting in a lot better numbers and looks like a better hockey player. So sometimes it is about who your defensive partner is if you feel like you're covering up for them all the time.
And Lane Hutson, who Brian talked to last night, also got some penalty kill minutes as well.
You can tell he loves it.
This guy loves to be on the ice as much as possible. Quinn Hughes, by the way, was on the ice for 32 minutes and 2 seconds last night.
Did it go to overtime?
No.
Wow.
No.
32 without overtime.
And that's something you usually only see in the playoffs. You only see that in the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
What can Lane Hutson do before he gets tired?
In a 60-minute game?
Yeah.
I think he'd do 35 minutes.
I do too. That's why I asked.
Yeah,
because you just said 32
minutes.
And my eyes went wide. But I bet you Lane Hutson can do 32.
Yeah.
A 5-2 win for Minnesota versus Columbus yesterday. And speaking of Lane Hutson and Quinn Hughes, I'm going to show you guys something that I don't think we brought up on the show last night. And I don't think you probably had a chance to see yet. I don't think you did. I just sent it over to Shane Gaumont.
I think I know what it is.
And I think you're really going to like this. I think it's pretty impressive.
I think a lot of Canadiens fans are going to like what Tony's going to show.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes, through his first 2 seasons, 129 games. Lane Hutson, 118 games. Goals, 11 for Hughes. Goals, 11 for Hutson. Points, 97 for Hughes. 99 for Hutson. Plus minus, Quinn Hughes was a minus 34. Lane Hutson's even.
And that's why Hughes dropped to, I believe it was 8th. It might have been 7th or 9th.
7th in the draft.
Thank you. That's why he dropped to 7th. Like, there were a lot of people that were watching him in Michigan thinking he just didn't have it defensively, and he was always going to be a liability.
And everyone said, this guy's unbelievable, but he's on the ice for 3 goals for, but he's on the ice for 4 goals against.
Always. He's never going to figure it out, but he has figured it out. And it just shows that at the end of the day, you know, the Canadiens guy drops to 62 because they don't think he can defend either. Mm-hmm. And his numbers, considering where the team is at 0 plus minus, is excellent.
You know how many people tried to tell me last year that Lane Hutson was not a superstar and that I was crazy to think that he was, because as if his rookie season was like a fluke year. Come on, like, people, let's be honest here, right? Where are those people nowadays? Where are those people nowadays who thought I was crazy?
They're in Toronto.
That thought I was crazy for calling Lane Hutson a superstar last year. Whoa. He doesn't know how to do this, doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
He's defending beautifully now. He is really good at dispossessing players that have 6-7 inches on him and 40 pounds, and he somehow leaves with the puck and then uses his skating ability to leave that larger man so far behind him. You can't believe it. Now he's killing penalties, and he seems to have that figured out already in terms of when to be aggressive and when to go into the box. Like, the guy's software for hockey is second to none.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. You know, when his offensive talent, you know, the stick handling, the skating, all that stuff, he's gifted. When you are as good and you're able to figure it out as early as he did defensively, that's a credit to the hockey mind that he possesses and how he sees the game and how he processes things and his ability to learn. Because last year we didn't see this. We saw it more towards the end of the season. Beginning of the season, it was a rough go for him defensively. And then it's clicking and he knows what he's doing out there. Brian, like you said, he played penalty kill and his eyes lit up.
Exactly. And a very small point, his head coach loves to, even if his team is down 3 and 4 and 5, never mind 2 and 1 with 4 minutes left, likes to pull the goalie. So that 0 he has on the board and plus minus, it includes about 17 empty netters that he's on the ice for when there's no goalie in the net. So in a small way, I'm not saying it's dramatic, cheating of his number, but in a small way, it's a bit of a negative he doesn't have to carry if Martin St. Louis didn't love pulling the goalie at 3-1, 4-1 down.
Marc Dumont of Montreal Hockey Now, formerly Montreal Hockey Now sportsnot.com, wrote an article earlier today assessing the play of rookie defenseman Adam Engstrom. And basically said he's building a case for a permanent job on Montreal's blue line. I cannot disagree with that at all.
What is in the case? Anything that stands out, Tony, in terms of numbers?
Basically,
because he's put a couple of poor courses together over the 7 games. He's got some nice numbers too, but there were a couple of games where he got lit up a little bit. The Ranger game sticks out, I think, that it was a bit of a tough night for him there, but it was a tough night for everyone. To me was their worst defensive performance of the entire season, up 3 in that game and playing like they were down 3.
He leads all Canadiens defensemen in expected goals percentage with 51.8%.
Hold it. In the 7 games?
Yes.
Wow.
That's slightly better than Lane Hutson's 51.4%.
Wow, that's fantastic.
But he says it doesn't paint the entire picture. And he says a positive relative expected goals for percentage tells us a player is making a positive impact compared to the rest of his teammates. And he says Engstrom has made his way to the top of the list. And he says you take a look at relative expected goals for percentage at 5v5. Adam Engstrom is tops at 5.1. Lane Hutson is second at 3.9. Mike Matheson is third at 2.04. Arbor Jacki is fourth at 1.38. Noah Dobson is fifth, minus 99.
That tracks. Dobson has not been great lately.
Struble is sixth at minus 1.78. And Alex Carrier is getting caved in at minus 4.48. Getting caved in. So
the Carrier change when he didn't have to carry someone happened, 3 games ago?
About that.
Right. So the 4 that includes that sample size of 7, the last 7 for Engstrom includes those very bad 4. So I expect Carrier's numbers will recover the more he doesn't have to carry someone else and overplay his role. But I'm also noticing, and you can see it last night when Dobson was with Struble. Dobson and Struble's numbers were terrible. When Dobson was with Engstrom, both of their numbers were good. They were 40% different, 70 versus 30 in Corsi's. So, Engstrom is making even Dobson look good, right? So, I mean, how they're going to decide this is going to be very interesting because the other guys are waiver eligible. That becomes really tricky. Like, he is playing so well. Like, they would love for him to not be this amazing, this fast, because they're trying to win hockey games. And a guy playing that well, has to be in the lineup when they're trying to win hockey games. But they're also trying not to lose Jayden Struble.
Yeah.
It's a tough moment for Kent Hughes.
And, we'll talk about Jacki in a second. And he says we can also see that Engstrom's most common defensive partner is Jacki, has enjoyed a solid stretch since being paired with Adam Engstrom. And he talks about how reliable they've been and how you can see that the numbers have increased. Also they compare results from the defenseman in the same time frame rather than including all the data that was collected before Engstrom joined the Canadiens. And once again, if you do that, Hudson's at 5.18. Jacki's at 5.13, Matheson 2.52, Engstrom 1.38. And once again, it's a negative for Dobson, Struble, and Carrier. And this relative expected goals for percentage, 5v5, since November the 28th. So listen, the eye test has told us that Struble has been struggling as of late. And Noah Dobson has been struggling as of late. The data collected by Mark Dumont suggests the exact same thing.
I am in agreement with that 100%. I'm a little surprised with Dobson because I thought he was going to be a more consistent performer. I didn't think that he had ups and downs. It seemed every time I watched him on Long Island, I saw a guy who wasn't having any downtime. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's had a little downtime, and it's been kind of surprising. He's on pace for far less than the 70 of his high that is his career. Yeah. So I'm not saying it wasn't a smart move or long-term. It's not an excellent thing for the organization. It is. Yeah. But I am a little surprised that he is a player with a little bit of downtime.
So I have actually just taken a snapshot of the article and some of the graphics and some of the stats that we just talked about. I've sent them over to Shane Gaumont at Master Control. He'll bring them up probably in just a couple of minutes. Once again, reminder, the Canadiens canceled practice earlier today. But Mike Matheson made his way on the ice, and he was with Caden Gooley under the supervision of Adam Nicholas this morning. Also, Kirby Doc was on the ice. By the way, he was in full gear. Stayed about 10 minutes, maybe not even 15 minutes, about 10-plus minutes. Patrick Guillet for Donnie Coulis was there, put images on social media. And then that was it for Doc. Patrick Liney was present, but he was basically standing on the bench in his flip-flops and just stick handling. He wanted to hang out at the arena, and he was probably doing some therapy as well. Also, Jared Davidson was there and was taking shots on Jacob Fowler, who was working with goalie coach Eric Raymond and also with development coach Alex Burrows. So there you have it for the players that were on the ice. Shane Gaumont, Master Control. If you have those stats, if you can bring them up. Montreal Canadiens defenseman, expected goals for percentage 5.5. There's the shot. There's the shot for Adam Engstrom, 5.1. Lane Hutson, 3.95. 2.04 for Matheson. Arbor Jack at 1.38. Noah Dobson at minus 0.99.
The thing I keep thinking about there, Tony, when I watch this small sample size, is
Yes.
you just have no clue what his ceiling is.
Who?
Adam Engstrom. Like if you're performing that well in your first 7 games in the National Hockey League, like that, you have no, like you're supposed to be the guy at the bottom.
A lot of people think he's in the window. You cannot trade that player.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You cannot trade that player.
Trade
you
that
know, there are
player.
trades that you make. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't have dealt that guy.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Eric Koziel was a collaborator on the French show on Mondays and Fridays. I remember that was Eric's reaction the second that he found out that Emil Heineman was part of the Noah Dobson trade. He did not like the fact that Heineman. Eric thought that Heineman could be a really good player for the Canadiens, and not even as a role player. Like he thought he could be in the top 6 in the lineup, and based on what he's doing with the Islanders, chances are Eric was probably right. That's another one. I mean, I know the Canadiens, if they're going to make a move, to get something, you got to give up something. That player, Adam Engstrom, I think he's got a really nice ceiling.
I do too, but at the same time, you knock on, a St. Louis's door, and they're interested. You're interested in, Gyro was the name in the summer, and Pareko's name has been out there, and Robert Thomas's name has been out there. If they come knocking for one of those guys and they want Adam Engstrom, and you want to improve your team, I would have a hard time saying no if Adam Engstrom is even if Adam Engstrom is involved.
And it's interesting you say that, because then it just becomes about the attitude. Like, do they think that this is it? Like,
right.
Is their competitive window for something great open right now? And if the answer is yes, then I would agree with your assessment. But if your answer is no, I think we got to wait for Demidov to become a better player. We got to wait for Age to arrive and become a better player. We got to wait for Reinbacher to arrive and become a better player. Zorowski as well. Then the answer to me would be no. I think I have time to see what Engstrom can bring, because I don't believe this is the year that Braden Shen changes everything for my team. So I always look at it this way. If I were a GM, and I like to play GM on television and the radio and podcasts all the time, and I always look at it this way. The moment your own GM thinks that they found the ceiling of a player, you try to find another GM that thinks the ceiling isn't known yet on that player.
Mm-hmm.
My example is Logan Mailloux. I think that Hughes and Gorton have made the decision at some point, this guy is never going to process fast. He's got a wicked shot. He's tough. He's big. He's got things that are super attractive to another GM that feels confident that he still has some window to learn how to process. And so you make a deal.
Sure.
Right? You look at the way that guy's processing after 7 games. He could process at a really, really high level. This is we saw 7 games of Logan Mailloux, what it looked like.
Yes. Eric Belanger said something earlier this morning. He said, the shyness is going away.
Yeah.
Like you come in, you tread carefully. You don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Yeah.
You want to give the puck. You want to play simple. You know what? You want to be appreciated by everyone. And then all of a sudden you try and figure things out. And then you see, you know what? Okay, I can establish myself even more. And then you start to say, you know what? I can definitely play with these guys. And then you say, you know what? I can not only play with these guys, I could do a lot more than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then you say, you know what? I can not only do a lot more, like I'm good. Like I shouldn't be afraid to make moves, and I shouldn't be afraid to carry the puck. Yesterday at one point when he pulled a little spinorama behind the net, and then he went from behind the net, and then he went in front.
Amazing.
And he did it with calm and poise when all of a sudden a poke check away from you, probably the puck ends up in your net for how close he was to his goalie. You can see the confidence level is starting to rise and rise and rise for Adam Engstrom. He's agile. He's smooth. He doesn't glide like Mike Matheson. He is a good skater. He reminds me a lot about Matheson, by the way, even though Matheson's skating is absolutely elite. But He's got a good relationship with the puck. He likes to handle the puck. He likes to have the puck. He's not scared to have the puck. He's not scared to do stuff with it. He's not scared to take chances. It reminds me a lot about Matheson.
Last night should have happened, though. The way that game went down, that's what should have happened. So I don't want to put all the stock in the world into last night.
Oh, you're saying the Canadiens won a 4-1 game that pretty much everyone in the world expected them to win probably by a score of 4-1 versus an average team that was out without their superstar, which made them like below normal team.
Well, that's it, because that superstar just happened to be a part of 48% of their goals in one way or another. You take that out of the lineup, what are you left with? You know, I get it. It was a great game. It really was. And I don't want to be the guy that's raining on everyone's parade every week. You know, like I was the guy who was raining on the Fowler parade last week, but last night should have happened the way it went down. It could have been more with those 2 inch offside goals taken back, but let's call it like it is. That was not an NHL roster they played.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on. But I will say this, good teams beat up on bad teams. And that was the first time we've seen the Canadiens really play to their level and not down to the competition's level.
I think after the New York Ranger game where they gave 5 odd man rushes and let that slip by not understanding how to play with a lead or intelligently, Nick Suzuki was talking in the locker room after the game yesterday to everyone, including me, that they kind of had an orchestrated idea that we need to play a lot tighter hockey. So then they play the Edmonton Oilers, who have only one loss in their last 10. That loss is against the Canadiens.
Yeah.
And they got only 1 goal. And then, yes, they lost against Philadelphia, and maybe they had a hard time generating offense, but they played really tight defense. They allowed 3, and 2 should have never happened. And obviously the third was a complete breakdown with Fowler. So that's tight. And then last night, only 15 shots allowed. That's tight too. They made a concentrated effort to play a lot tighter hockey, smarter hockey, no odd man rushes, respect the blue line type of hockey, get on the correct side of the puck. And they've been a really tight team. And yeah, I know Chicago's not great right now, but they've been a tight team for 3 games. And if they want to find success, that's the future.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. And they're not going to play always run and gun, but we see the ice times of last night, and a lot of people are complaining lately, not last night, but lately, of Ivan Demidov's ice time compared to his line mates and all that. Last night was the night to run and gun on a team that was a little down.
And they did 35 shots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, if it wasn't for Spencer Knight and nets and it was
offsides,
and offside, that game could have been 10-1.
Yeah.
It really was an unbelievable performance, but let's not get too high. Just like we don't get too low, you don't want to get too high.
I feel like
he's right about that.
No, you know what? I'm not going to agree with that one. And here's why I think you can get high, because when they were winning earlier in the season and they took a lot of overtime games.
Yep. Yes.
I mean, there were a lot of games that really looked attractive to the score sheet.
Yes.
I think right now, these last 3 games to me are the first indications that they're understanding how to play better under what their coach wants for them as a system.
Well, Nick Suzuki said yesterday after the game that after the loss versus the Rangers at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night, that the players decide they have to make a commitment to playing better defensive hockey.
Yeah.
Because you don't go far.
Exactly.
Conceding 4, 5,
and
putting the pressure on you that you have to win 5 or 6. I mean, their talent got them out of trouble on a couple of occasions. You can't expect it to do it every night. It's just too much pressure on everyone.
I'm high right now on the team. I mean, I'm high on the way they're playing.
You're high on the team and high on the way they're playing right now?
I am. I'm very high on it. I'm very high on the way they're playing right now, because here's why.
I'm not, because it's one up, one.
I don't feel that way.
I don't feel
Tuesday was a 1 down. I know everybody feels 1 down because they look at the score. They lost 3-1. They didn't generate a lot of offense, but I see a trend that I really like. I see a trend in terms of understanding that on Saturday they gave up 5 2-on-1s and breakaways. Yeah. And then they've cut that down to almost nothing. That's how you win hockey games. You don't give them easy ones. You're always going to make mistakes on the cycle. There's always going to be difficult moments on the cycle where you lose a guy by a foot or 2 and they score on you. But as long as you don't give them the easy ones, where you blow the zone early and suddenly it's 3 of them and 1 of you. Like, if you take care of all that stuff, you got so much better chance. And when I look at what you just mentioned in terms of who skated this morning, it was a really good reminder that they got a lot of talent not even playing right now.
Oh, they got a lot of talent. They got one defense pairing of Matheson and Gooley.
Exactly.
And they got one entire line of Kirby Doc and Alex Newhook and Patrick Liney.
Top 6 and top 9 and top 4. So that's massive. And they're only 1 point out of first place with all those guys on the sideline, with getting absolutely no goaltending basically since October 30. That's, to me, and now playing better defensive hockey, seeming to understand their head coach better and committed to what he's saying. I think that those are that's the blueprint for figuring it out in the second half of the season, to not be a team that's 1 win, 1 loss. But when they get their guys back, if they get a little bit of goaltending, they continue to learn the one-on-one style that in the defensive zone that their head coach wants for them. I think that they can put together something real good.
That second thing, though, that you said.
The second thing, which one was that?
Which was goaltending?
Right.
Could change on a dime.
Oh, well, yeah. And you mean to the good?
It could change. Well, right now they got goaltending last night. There weren't a lot of chances from Chicago, but he made some good saves, though, Besh did. He made some good ones. There were 2 in the third period, back to back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that were unbelievable saves. But that could change on a dime. We've seen that.
But it could change on a dime, like up too, right?
It could, and that's where playing responsibly defensively is so important. And yes, they've done that for the past 3 games. This is still the youngest team in the NHL, or one of them. To do that consistently over more than 3 games, that's where I want to see. I just need to see, again, it's like Jacob Fowler. I just need to see more of
What if they sweep Pittsburgh this weekend? Pittsburgh hasn't won a game in, I think, 7.
Yeah.
Will you get more confident then if they take a home and home?
I was just taking a look at my notes before I answer the question. It was a Slav turnover that you were talking about in the defensive zone. And then again, he tried to recover and then actually couldn't and fumbled it in the neutral zone. It led to a 2-on-1, and it was Teravainen and Mikheyev with a 2-on-1, and Teravainen took a shot that went off of Dobish's left shoulder.
Yeah.
The rebound came out in front of Mikheyev, who made a right leg save. Dobish did. Those were his best saves versus Pittsburgh. It's the right time to catch the Pittsburgh Penguins, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Big time.
Without Malkin, they're a different team.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
When was the last time you searched Christopher Letang on application X? His name.
It's not good.
Okay.
It's not good. People in Pittsburgh, fans there, media there, they think he's done and they think he's cooked.
Okay. Have you done the exercise?
No, I haven't.
All right. Okay.
I'm ready for it, though.
Okay. Let me search his name right now. First one that comes up, Chris Letang's time in the NHL, someone pointing to a clock.
Yeah.
All right. Don DiTommaso, who works for producer at 93.7 The Fan, which is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, they carry the games.
Oh, so if this is bad, he's out on a limb with it.
Chris Letang has become the most problematic athlete in Pittsburgh. His play is terrible, and he's immovable. You can't trade him or buy him out, and he won't retire. Hindsight's 2020, but the Penguins should have traded him in 2022 when they had the chance. By the way, yours truly, been on record on different platforms, going back the last 3 years saying they should have never renewed Letang. They should have never renewed Malkin. And it's at that point where I would have even had the conversation with Sid. And if Sid, I would have had the conversation with him. Sid, if you want to retire a Penguin, we'd be more than happy. If you want to move on, we'd be more than happy to go the way of a rebuild too. You tell us what you want to do. But even though we're going to go the way of a rebuild, if you want to stay, we have no problem with you staying because you're Sid the Kid, everything you've done for the organization. But they should have started, I think, the rebuild a long time ago. Now, this year, the way they started, they caught all of us by surprise. And now reality's kicking in. They're not that good.
Well, reality also kicked in because they're starting Stuart Skinner in net.
Right. I was just going to say that.
That's a big difference.
The reaction to that trade was very negative because the fan base thought that was the give up trade.
Well, that's it.
Second tweet in the search says, Matt, it's absolutely depressing seeing a franchise icon fall off the way Chris Letang has.
You know what? It's so funny because it's the same city. It's exactly how Pittsburgh fans and Pittsburgh media sounded about Ben Roethlisberger his last season in Pittsburgh.
Josh Yohe, who's a Penguins beat writer, he follows the team. He writes about the team. Letang is a mess once again.
Jesus.
In the early going tonight, that was last night. Every shift has been a struggle.
Isn't it Sidney Crosby can reach some record?
Next tweet,
In his
Ryan
next game?
James. We'll get to that in a second. All I want for Christmas is for Kevin Hayes and Chris Letang to be benched.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Oh, man.
And
Twitter is
listen,
so cruel,
it's by the way, next one, and we'll end with this because now it's too much. Chris Letang is absolutely worthless. Has been for the last 7 years. Play anyone else. Put a traffic cone on the ice. Even that would be more useful than washed up like Letang.
Wow.
Listen, Chris Letang's had a very good career for a defenseman who, by the way, had a heart defect and has had different health situations and health scares over the course of his career.
He loves hockey, man.
He loves hockey.
He just loves it so
I
much.
saw him play in the 3v3 this summer, and I saw him play one game. He was on the ice all the time. And then it wasn't
it Chris Letang who, when one player couldn't make it on the 3v3?
You were there with me.
Yeah.
You remember who the player was?
No, who couldn't make it?
It was Vincent Desharnais.
Yeah.
Who went up to him right in front of us and said, I can't go. Can you go? Can you play next one?
And he
said,
had just played one game and he played a second
He was
game.
on the bench. Guys, yeah, he says, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And he just went on. So he's got the cardio. He can play forever. Jonathan Chamberlain, who's his basically his strength and conditioning coach and his fitness expert here in Montreal at the Adrenaline Performance Center, who's done a great job with him over the years, will tell you that are probably all the athletes that have come and gone from his gym and have passed through his gym at Adrenaline Performance Center over the years, that Christopher Letang and George St. Pierre are probably the two strongest athletes.
Oh, yeah?
Now, so George St. Pierre would make sense, but you wouldn't think it would be Christopher Letang. So I feel terribly for him.
How old is Letang?
I do.
38?
I think he's 38, 39.
You know what, though? Some guys they get old. That's what happens.
Most get old.
And,
he's 38. He'll be 39 in April.
Yeah, most get old.
Yeah, and then they
38's a
hang
big
around.
number.
Well,
man.
most get old, but I think that what Matt is trying to say is you can be 34 or 35 and you can kind of like still play one day. And 2 weeks later, you're done.
It happens fast.
And 2 weeks later, you're done type of thing. So, look,
Do you think Sidney Crosby could be done?
He's got a real good hockey brain. I think he's going to bounce back. But without a doubt, I mean, let's be honest here. Father Time has kicked in, and it's the beginning of the end. But what this means, guys, is for those who had that Crosby dream, the Canadiens can probably go, try and make that happen this weekend with 2 regulation wins over the Penguins. If they can pick up 2 regulation wins over the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday night and on Sunday night, when the standings in the Eastern Conference have, out of 16 teams, the Penguins at 12th, just 3 points ahead of 16th place Columbus.
So they'd be 15 or 16.
You know what? The Pittsburgh Penguins, by Christmas, could be last in the East. Mind you, there's so much parity that it doesn't take much. This is a big weekend for the Canadiens. Conference opponent twice, division opponent on Tuesday. We'll get to Boston in a second. This is a big weekend for the Canadiens.
I agree. And for the pitch to Crosby, I think, listen, if word gets out that he becomes available, I think Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton will do everything in their power to bring their best pitch to Crosby. I don't think that'll happen, but I think the Montreal Canadiens really need to take
And
advantage
that's who
of
you
this.
sacrifice Engstrom for.
Hold on a second.
Yes, that's a player you give Engstrom for.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. If the Penguins are out of a playoff spot by trade deadline day, Sidney Crosby's getting traded.
I don't know about that.
Why
You
not?
don't know about that?
I'll tell you why. And I know, Tony, I know what
Yeah.
you're about to say. And believe me, you can
What
ask
am I
my
about to
friend.
say?
You could ask my friends.
What am I about to
Hold
say?
on. You can ask my friends
Yeah.
what I say about you.
Yeah.
If Tony says something
Yeah.
on air,
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Okay.
That's what I always tell my friends.
Thank you. What were you going to say? What was I going to say when you said, I know what you're going to say? What was I going to say?
That you know for a fact he'll be traded.
I didn't say I know for a fact.
But no, I thought that's
When
what you were going to say.
his agent, Pat Brisson, who arguably the most reputable agent that you could find, not only in all of hockey, but maybe even in all of sport, comes out before the season starts, gives an interview, coincidentally, to Pierre LeBrun, who's one of the best hockey insiders in the world, where you know that if you give Pierre LeBrun an interview and you're going to say something, it's going to be splashed all around the hockey world. Says, all I can tell you is that Sid hasn't, the Penguins haven't made the playoffs in the last 3 years, and they need to make it this year. He's basically telling you, if they're not going to make the playoffs this year, we're not sticking around anymore. Sidney Crosby has 2 years left on his contract. He's not going to finish off his historic, incredible NHL career that's going to span over 20 years, missing the playoffs 5 years in a row. It's not going to happen.
When the rubber meets the road, if you think about it, Crosby, since he's been in juniors, has been wearing the same shoulder pads, the same jock strap. Has no curve on his stick. He's been using the same stick forever. This guy is stuck in his ways. I just can't imagine this guy saying, yeah, I'm going to uproot my life, when the guy's using the same damn shoulder pads and jock strap for 30 years.
That's superstition, though.
The guy is one of the biggest winners.
I agree.
The guy is one of the biggest winners the National Hockey League has known in the last 40 years.
I can't disagree with anything you're saying.
He's one of the biggest winners the National Hockey League has known in the last 40 years. From winning the World Juniors to winning Olympic gold to winning Four Nations face-offs to scoring the golden goal to winning 3 Stanley Cups.
Mm-hmm.
I understand everything you're saying, but one of the biggest winners the league has known in the last 4 years is not going to go out missing the playoffs 5 years in a row. And there's a reason why his agent said what he said. He's talking for Crosby, so Crosby wouldn't have to say it himself because he never would. It's already a discussion that has taken place between them, obviously, if his agent is willing to go that far. And it's not his intention to be traded from Pittsburgh. I'm sure he'd love for the Penguins to win the next 12 games.
Yeah.
And to turn it around and, in 15 games from now, be first in the East. I feel strongly about what I'm saying. Don't forget also, with the talk of Crosby, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Always.
I know a gentleman who's very close to Crosby and his people. And about a year and a half ago, he pulled me aside and he said to me, don't be surprised if Sidney Crosby finishes his career with the Montreal Canadiens. And I looked at him and I said, are you kidding me or what? You know something? And he said to me, and then because Crosby re-upped his contract. Now, it was more of a possibility before he re-upped his contract. But the only chance it becomes another possibility again is once again if they don't make the playoffs. So if they're out of a playoff spot come trade deadline and teams have got better and they're on a downward spiral, I'd bet the house that he's going to get traded. I'd bet the house. Now, is it easier for me because I have 17 of them? If I lose one, I'm left with 16? Yes. That was a joke, by the way, okay? It took a while for Brian to laugh, but Brian
I got it.
Okay.
I want to add to the discussion by taking it to Penguins management. That management team, you guys know who heads it.
Kyle Dubas.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's not a sentimental guy.
He's a business guy.
He's a business.
Oh, yeah, he's heartless.
He's heartless. He got into this industry being one of the first guys that was doing a lot of analytics. Analytic guys are especially heartless because they're numbers guys. They don't look.
They take the emotion out of.
They take the emotion out of it.
Yes.
Like you got some GMs like Mark Bergevin starts crying when he signs Brendan Gallagher to a 6-year deal because that's who that guy was.
Yeah.
And so his eye test was, I love that guy so much. He's never going to grow old. He's never going to stop scoring. He's just always going to be that guy. Let's give him 6 years. Kyle Dubas would be, All right, his Corsi has gone down 3% per year for the last 3 years. His shooting percentage has dropped from 13% tonight, right? You know what I'm getting at?
I know exactly what you're getting
Okay,
at.
so the businessman, Kyle Dubas,
Yes.
totally unemotional guy, is going to look at what's happening to his team, and it's not just going to be Sidney Crosby. It's going to be everyone.
Let's forget about Kyle Dubas for a second. If you were him and you had his job, you were him, you had his job. If I was him and I had his job,
Do it, man.
wouldn't
Should've
we
been
all
done.
rebuild?
Oh, man,
of
long
course.
ago.
We would try and get rid of, we would try and part ways
Long ago.
with Carlson,
Long ago.
with Letang,
Long ago.
with Malkin,
Long ago.
and with Crosby. The
Last
very
year.
least 4 players. And Rust. 5, maybe more. We would do it. They won in the National Hockey League. It's not complicated. Okay?
Yeah.
You build your team. Some of them go through a rebuild. The Penguins did that. They had the number 1 pick with Marc-Andre Fleury in 2003. They had the number 2 pick in 2004. They drafted Malkin. First pick was Ovechkin. In 2005, they won the lottery. They got Sidney Crosby. They went on to win 3 Stanley Cups. You do your cycle, and then you got to redo it all over again. The Chicago Blackhawks won 3 Stanley Cups in their rebuild. At one point, they had to start all over again, and they chose the time that Connor Bedard was available to start doing it. The Pittsburgh Penguins are no different. The Canadiens tried. Now they're doing a rebuild. They're going to end up being very competitive for 15 years, 10, 15 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
At one point when they won't be anymore, they're going to have to do it all over again. That's the way the league is. That's what it is.
So sports works.
I disagree, though. I really disagree.
Disagree with what?
Before last year, when was the last time you saw the Boston Bruins at the basement of a conference? Before last year.
Yes, I understand they are a team, but hold on a second. They are a team that has been a little bit different than the others. They didn't necessarily do it with a rebuild. They did it with some really good drafting, okay? They did it different ways. They did it by signing Zdeno Chara as an unrestricted free agent. They did it by drafting Patrice Bergeron, 45th overall.
Late successful picks was their key.
Late successful picks.
Pasternak, late pick, very successful.
But to be able to do that
late pick, very successful.
Milan Lucic to a lesser degree. Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
David Krejci.
There are very few teams can pull that
But
off.
you
but
guys-
that was
you
their
guys- you
success.
guys-
And
because what they did was they basically drafted top 5, but they didn't draft top 5.
Well, they drafted 5th when they drafted Kessel.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, and they drafted first when they drafted Joe Thornton way before that. But
yeah.
Tampa Bay's a little bit like that. They drafted Stamkos 1 and Hedman 2. But
And
for the most part,
was late, and Point was late, and then again you have
Kucherov was the 58th pick.
exactly. So
And-
that's why you have your success that looks like you drafted top 5.
There's a generation. This is
And the
the
Habs did it
generation.
too.
Hold on a
that's
second.
that's happening. No, but hold on. There's a generation
I'll
gap
finish
that's
this your point.
happening, and I'll
The
tell
Boston
you.
Bruins.
Yeah.
Okay, Boston
Yeah.
Bruins. They're very competitive, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that they're going to go very far? They're not.
No.
So
But-
one day we're going to do this. It's not as to the point where the Pittsburgh Penguins are at. In the next 3-4 years, we're going to look at the Boston Bruins and say, yeah, you know what? They probably needed to do a reset or a rebuild when they didn't, because it was time.
I always word it this way. When you tear it down and decide to do a rebuild, there's no guarantee you're going to win a Stanley Cup. But if you don't tear it down and don't do a rebuild, that's the guarantee you're not going to win the Stanley Cup. Because if you can't commit to it, you end up in the messy middle for a very long time. Very long time. Like, look at the San Jose Sharks. 3 years of hell. But now look at the base that they're working from.
Sure.
Incredible. Anaheim, years and years of hell. But there are examples where it didn't work, like the Buffalo Sabres. They've made mistakes in their rebuild. So I'm not saying just because you tear it down, you're guaranteed to win a cup. There's only one parade every year. But if you don't tear it down, you will never get the top 5 talent that wins you cups.
I agree with this is the gap that we're seeing. In my generation, I'm 20. I'm going to be 29 in a few weeks.
Oh, to be 29 again.
Yeah, right. I feel 92 sometimes. But anyways, I've never in my lifetime seen a player, or at least since I started watching hockey in 2003, I've never seen a player of that magnitude move or get moved. The biggest player I've seen move is probably Quinn Hughes. That's the biggest trade of my lifetime is Quinn Hughes, where you guys saw Gretzky move.
Right.
That's why I can't see it. The way that hockey players are just so stuck in their ways. What is the reason for Connor McDavid to still be in Edmonton? What is it? Why should he still be there?
Right, but doesn't the contract he chose
Why is
tell
he
you?
there? Because his team went to the Stanley Cup final 2 straight years, and both times, like,
But they're not fixing.
He came
but they're
within
not
a
fixing
goal
the
of
same
overtime.
issue. Okay, but they're not fixing the same issue.
I
that's there.
understand.
But see,
And they
you see
still
what I
made
mean?
it to
And
Game 7. That's what he's saying, though.
Yeah, I know, but when his contract talk was the big spark. It was the big talk of the town. Everyone's he's gone. He's gone. It's over. Connor McDavid is gone. And then he re-upped.
Well, that had a lot to do with the city.
And he also did give them a kind of an ultimatum a little bit, but he re-upped. That's why I just can't see Crosby moving. It's a block in my head. It just doesn't make sense because in hockey, the biggest player I've seen move is Quinn Hughes. In football, the biggest player I've seen move is the greatest of all time, is Tom Brady. In basketball, the greatest of all time, according to some, LeBron James. In hockey, it's Quinn Hughes. That's where I'm at. And I'm sure all of our viewers and listeners that are my age are exactly in the same spot I am. Except for the Dreamers. I
don't know, because I think that the bottom line to any National Hockey League player is winning and losing. And your argument has a winner and close to winning, Game 7 Cup versus a guy who's looking in front of him of nothing but carnage for his own team. So I don't really think that it equates. I understand it equates in your mind in terms of the emotional mentality of a hockey player, but I think that the bottom line of the emotional mentality of a hockey player is winning. And Connor McDavid is very close to winning, even though they F up the goalie every year. And Sidney Crosby has in front of him nothing but carnage. And so I think that carnage in front of him, wanting to be a winner and having always been a winner, will make him want to be traded to a winner.
We have a bunch of sponsors we want to thank. Sick Podcast brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading asset light 3PL that's driven to be different. From cross-border freight between Canada, USA, and Mexico to coast-to-coast shipping in both Canada and the United States, Energy moves it all. Fast, reliable, powered by tech that delivers smarter logistics. If you need a real partner in transportation, contact the team at sick@shipenergy.com. See how Energy Transportation Group is changing the freight game. It's hockey night at Playground. I want to talk to you about them as well, as if watching hockey wasn't thrilling enough. Now every goal means more action on the felt. Before the puck drops, every poker table is randomly assigned a player from Montreal. When your player scores, boom! Playground splashes the next pot with up to $200 in chips. Catch every game on Playground's big screens all around the room, so you'll never miss a goal, a play, or a splash pot. So get your game face on and head on over to Playground for hockey nights where the goals, the games, and the action all come together. A shout out to the Geloso Beverage Group. For big games, you want the best beers on your team, whether it's Tibi IPA with its bold flavor, Tibi Lager with its exceptional smoothness, or Tibi Ultra Lager, which is ultra light and ultra refreshing. They always have a place on your team. Tibi brewed for special occasions. And please, please drink responsibly. The Canadiens will host the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night in Montreal. Will you be going to the game? Because I know on Saturdays, you usually...
No, I work from home in the weekend.
You work from home in the weekend? That's a smart thing to do. Go all the way with Betway and get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 if you want to get on the action on your first deposit. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please, please play responsibly. All right. Okay. Your goalies on the weekend.
I think I'll go with Dobish again. It's not like he was taxed 15 shots. And then I will go where Fowler has already gone for success on Sunday. So I'll go Dobish Saturday. Fowler Sunday, they win them both. And on Monday, when you look at the standings, the number one team in the Atlantic is the Montreal Canadiens.
And Sidney Crosby's the second line center?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
But before the trading deadline, I predicted quite a long time ago that I thought Sidney Crosby was going to finish his career as a Montreal Canadian. So I might as well stick with it.
Okay. I am going to copy Brian's homework. I'm going to say Dobish on Saturday.
Yeah.
Not because he wasn't taxed. I just thought he played well.
Right.
And even if he was taxed, you got a day off in the middle.
Yeah, 100%.
So ride that and then go to Fowler on Sunday.
I'm going to go to Fowler won in Pittsburgh. He was comfortable there. Put him back there. And I'll go with Dobish on Saturday night if we're,
And why are they bringing Sam Montembeault back so fast on
they
Sunday?
obviously have a plan.
What is the plan?
I don't know.
I don't think they. It's the plan is scattered. It's
not scattered, because if there wasn't a defined plan, they would have kept him down there for the 14 days that he could have stayed down.
Exactly. I don't understand that.
plan.
And he didn't even get a third game in. He was allowed a third game down there to conditioning. Do you think the plan could change considering how he played?
I
night?
think the plan is fluid. I think it's fluid.
No, their plan was 2 practices and 2 games. They just want him to get repetitions, and I think he'll come back, and there'll be 3 goalies
But what if he
again.
plays poorly Saturday too, Tony? They're going to bring him back with him having
Doesn't mean he's not going to play on Sunday anyway. He's not going to play 3
I'm
games
just
in 4
saying, if
nights.
he's only 2 games and he could have had 3 and he could have had 14 days and he took only 4 or 5, then he actually has struggled already in 1 game. Let's say he struggles in Cleveland again on Saturday, and you bring him back, and the whole idea was that he gets some confidence back, and he actually lost more because now he can't stop American Hockey League shooters either.
There's only one way Fowler doesn't play on Sunday. If they've already designed for him to play Tuesday night in Boston, a former Boston college player, then he'll play Saturday. Dobish will play Sunday, and Fowler will play again on Tuesday.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know if they're going to do that, considering that it's a big divisional game, not only a conference game, but a big divisional game. But I would imagine that Fowler would be pretty pumped up to play in Boston.
He likes the moment.
Then again, he'd be pretty pumped up to play in Florida too, because he's a Florida native, right?
Yeah.
So
but that's the one thing I like about him so far, for sure, is he likes the moment. He is not afraid of the moment. He wants it, and that's great.
He was putting in the overtime earlier today with Eric Rameau, the Montreal Canadiens goalie coach, and with Alex Burrows of their development team.
I really just I can't see if Dobish plays lights out on Saturday, Fowler goes on Sunday, and he plays lights out. How do you fit in Montembeault? How do you do it? The optics, I understand that there's a plan. That is a really hard sell to not the team, because the team, they have emotional connection to Montembeault. That's a hard sell to your fans. And the pressure, heat is going to be turned up. And I think some of the players would not be too happy about it either, frankly.
I think you were right if you were starting to say it's a hard sell for the team.
That's
because
it.
The players want to win, and if the other 2 guys are stopping pucks, like, it is very demoralizing to say we played a pretty darn good game tonight, but wow, our goalie let in 7 of 18. That's a tough moment, and they can't talk about it except amongst themselves. You can never throw a dude under the bus, so it's hard for these guys.
It goes back to what I said.
They want to win.
Sorry, Tone, just
No
in
problem.
1 second. It goes back to what I said a couple weeks ago. It's always the same analogy I bring up. Sam Montembeault has ruined his credit. He has a credit card, and he has ruined his credit. Why should one good performance in the AHL rebuild his credit all the way at the top? It doesn't make sense.
Well, you don't forget how to goal.
I agree.
In 6 months when you're in the prime of your
Well,
career,
that's
in
the
terms of
question
in terms of age. Anyway,
You know what, though? You just made a great statement, because watch him. Does it look like he didn't forget how to goal? Did you see 2 of the goals?
His technique
yesterday?
and confidence is broken.
Why has the technique becomes just so fundamentally bad? If a guy's skating this direction, I don't know if you can see me.
Yes.
If a guy's skating this direction, why is he going this direction to save it?
And we see that's a consistent problem.
He's doing it all the time.
Sports is a mental thing, and maybe the fact that his confidence has dipped.
Makes
Obviously,
you
his
go
confidence
the
is
wrong
shattered.
direction.
There's a focus thing going on. Obviously,
Here comes a puck. I'm going over here. Come on. It's impossible to believe what's going on.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? It's impossible to believe what's going on.
there's obviously something going on, and they're going to
weird.
have to try and figure it out. And we wish him the best.
I
I
obviously.
wish him the best.
Of
when
course you
hammer
wish him the
I'm
best.
wishing him the best. He's a great dude. I feel bad when I have to say things like this because I'm a sensitive guy myself, and I don't enjoy criticism either. But I almost say it I almost hope that he's listening, because I sure hope someone's telling him, hey, dude, the puck was there.
The fact
and you went that way.
The fact that when they sent them down said he'll be back with the team on Sunday tells me that they have a plan.
Yeah.
That's it, because or else they would have said, well, we set them down. Let's wait and see. Let's see what
But
happens.
it's got to be fluid. It has to be fluid. That's just what it has to be, a fluid plan.
I'll end it with this. Do we all agree that it's a matter of time? Jacob Fowler will be the number 1 goaltender for this franchise, and he will be for a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If all goes according to plan.
And that could be
That's their plan.
this year, in 6 months, next year, in a year and a half.
Yes.
Between now and then, one of Montembeault and Dobish is going to be moved. Let's see what happens.
Yes.
And neither of them, the move is not happening when the asset is at a low.
Of course.
The move is going to happen when the asset is at a high, because these are not emotional general managers.
No.
These are businessmen who are playing the stock market. That's what we have here, and that's the way it's going to go down. Happy holidays, my friend. Happy holidays, my friend. Special thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Orange Julep for the gear. And once again, thank you to all of our sponsors for making this possible and making it a free podcast for everyone to be able to watch. For Shane Gaumont and Master Control, we'll be back. Oh, by the way, do we have the holiday on the 23rd? Do we have the graphic? Look at this, folks. When I told you we're nuts here, we are nuts.
Oh, what a nice photo of you, Tony.
14-hour Habs holiday marathon. I thought they were going to put the one in the pajama, but anyway, they didn't.
No, you look nice.
Thank you. December 23rd, we're going to be raising funds for Cure SMA. So throughout the day, the programming on Tuesday, on game day versus the Bruins, is going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, as usual, with myself, en français, de 10h à midi. Then there will, we're going to go straight through. And we're going to bring you programming in French until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then the programming in English will kick in till about 6 o'clock. From 4 to 6, there's going to be the eye test, which is going to kick in. And Jimmy Murphy and Pierre Maguire are going to talk Habs and Bruins, obviously. At 6 p.m., I'll be back. And I'm going to host a Montreal Canadiens pregame show. At 7 p.m., there's going to be a watch party with Shane Gaumont and Matt Ohayon. They're going to go all the way up until 10 p.m. And at 10 p.m., officially, the Habs postgame show will start, and I'll be back with Pierre Maguire.
What's a watch party?
Watch party is while the game is going on, Shane and Matt will be in here in studio. They'll be watching the game on television, and they'll be commenting about what they're seeing, and they'll be giving their thoughts throughout the entire game. It's a beautiful thing.
So for everybody on their couch, they can sort of like turn down the TV sound of the game and turn
to hear what
up.
their reaction is while the game is going on.
Instant analysis.
Instant analysis.
That's fun. I like that.
Yes. And so that's it. So basically, we're going to give out the link for Cure SMA on Tuesdays, and all the donations that it's a cause that's obviously very dear to our hearts, because Sammy was diagnosed. Sammy, the CEO basically of Sick Media, owner and founder, he was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy at the age of 9 months. Told he was going to pass by the age of 2. He's 25 years old, and he's doing really, really well. So if you can send over a donation on Tuesday when we give out the link to Cure SMA, it's going to a great cause. And so hopefully that they can find the cure. Because that's the dream, obviously. That's the dream here that we have, that they find the cure for SMA. So I'm going to get my rest right now, and I'm going to wake up probably on Tuesday morning, and I'll be back. No, I'm
there
going to
better not be a trade in the next 3-4 hours.
I'm going to be, well, less than that, because by the time we're getting off right now, it should be about 11:12, 11:13. And the deadline actually goes up until 11:59. So
I meant in our real world, but
I hear you. Okay. I hear you. All right. Okay. So guys, have a great weekend, and I'll be back. I'll be back on Monday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, obviously, with the French show, Le Sick Podcast en français, 10h le matin, jusqu'à midi. Merci. Bonne fin de
Orange
semaine.
Julep.
Thank you for the gear.
Thank you for the gear. It's beautiful.
For the gear.
I love it.
For Matt Ohayon and Brian Wilde and Shane Gaumont, Master Control, I'm Marinaro. It's a long work week, and the weekend is finally here. Ciao for now.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Bittt. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.